Right here with Stu Shadow Legends. Let's get into this Faction Wars. That's right. Okay, so what I wanted to do, let's look at Faction Wars here and see what it says. So Faction Wars, we just learned, are going to come out with the whole thing, all the tree of life that they showed us, the roadmap. If you haven't seen the roadmap, check out the video on it. Basically what we have is a Faction Wars. Champions born in the faction will be willing to put their lives on the line to defend their kind. So rally up your champions, keep factions of the same kind. Each faction will have their own dedicated location that must be liberated. Only champions from that faction are able to fight for that location. Each location will contain multiple stages that your champions must beat. Each location will also contain tough new bosses that develop and get harder as you progress. So I'm guessing like a tower, but it says each day, just like the potion keeps, each day will have a different faction. So let's just go into this. Let's say Faction Wars come out. What are we going to use for the first faction? Let's just look, just for fun. Banner Lords. Now, Banner Lords, they don't seem to have a lot. Let me hit this. They don't seem to have a lot out there, honestly. As always, Banner Lords seem like they need a little bit of love or maybe some tweaking on their champions. We don't really have any heals in here, I don't think. Rare-wise, we've got some buff extenders. What do we have rare-wise? Let me just click it. We got time. So we've got Crossbow Man, right? This old man with a crossbow, he can do a stun. From what I remember, she can extend buffs and do some heals. So she can extend buffs. She'll probably play a good part in doing Banner Wars, making up a team. Grandmaster, I know he could do what? Provoke, some other stuff. He doesn't look very exciting. Preserver, she doesn't look very exciting. Now these are rares we're looking at. Wasn't this the guy with the? No, I thought this guy did a whole bunch of. I thought this guy did a whole bunch of the damage, but that was a different one. No. Conqueror, here it is. Cannot be revived. I thought he had the passive. The Cavalier, he might be able to play in here. I just don't. Vanguard, we've already went over. Terrible. Awesome passive. I love Vanguard's passive. His abilities, no go. So, and then we're getting into uncommons. Are we going to have to go uncommons with Banner Lords for the faction stuff? Oh man, I hope not. I hope not. So let's look at epics. Maybe, I think Banner Lords have a nice amount of legendaries. They could use some epics, some epic love in here, because I think all of Banner Lords, most people think they're not the greatest. So that's Warcaster there. Warcaster is decent. I will definitely, since I have him, I will for sure use him in the what are we doing? Faction Wars? I will for sure use him in Faction Wars because he can negate damage, he can block buffs, which is always going to be good, and steal buffs. Now remember, we're not going to be fighting people in Faction Wars. We're going to be taking our faction in daily, whatever it says. If it says Banner Lords that day, we're going to take them in, and we're going to be fighting, probably waves and then a boss. And it says the boss will get harder as we progress. Don't really know what that means, since we're only going to have the day or so whenever it's open to go in there with that. But hopefully it's something sweet. I look forward to it for sure. Any new content like that sounds amazing. Azure, what did this guy have? Protect. Okay, Protect could be good. I'm just not seeing anybody who really stands out. Rowan, she is cool. She is really cool. I love her look. I love her abilities. But the cooldowns, they just recently lowered the cooldowns on her as well. But still, it's just, make this a 3-turn cooldown. A stun debuff, that's fine. Make it a 3-turn cooldown. It's only a 50% chance. Make this a 3. Make this one a 3-turn cooldown too when you max it out. Make this one 4 right now. You max it out, 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn cooldown. And then she has damage based on attack and speed, which is pretty cool because there's not a lot of champions that have it based on speed as well. If that multiplier is good, in a lot of other games, that multiplier is usually really good. If you get this up, it can do some serious damage. In this game, I haven't seen that. But in other games, you can't. I would love to use her. She really, to me, looks like a unique class. I don't see a lot of other classes like that. So we'll see. Knight's Aaron, he was never, what does he do? The leech, right? And then you can reset his skills. Is this the one you can reset? Weaken. Skills of this target are killed. Resets this. Sorry, I got a bad itch. So, again, he could work at, he could do some work, I think, decently in that, but still nothing that we really want to be jumping all over. I think he's great. 3-turn turn meter reduction, block. They're just, and then Horden, you've seen him recently for sale. He's actually not a bad champion. So we could use him in for the Banner Lords. But man, what did we go through? What did we just look at? We looked at all the rares. And this is what people are going to have. People are going to have the rares, they're going to have their uncommons, and they're going to have a few epics to pick from for that. And we're not going to be ready because I don't know anybody who has that many amazing Bannerlords unless they've got some legendary Bannerlords that they've been working on. My Rowan isn't very high. He's the only 60 I have in legendary, in epic for Bannerlords, which is Warcaster. I would need to level him up. If I have him, I'll have to go back and look through. If I have Horden, yeah, the 1, 2. I know I've got Knights Errant, and as far as the rest, again, extend my buffs. If I'm coming, I don't have anybody to extend good buffs with. You know, who else in here? All right, let's look at the. I'm just gonna have to look at the uncommons, and remember, did any of these have anything amazing? I'm not gonna look at their skills because I would remember. I think I would remember if something stood out, but they don't. So we already went over those guys. All right, let's go in here. So Baron, we know Baron can do some serious damage. He can do true damage. So if he gets it, attacks all enemies, deals pure damage, and will ignore shields and block damage buffs. So he can. Baron can put out some good damage. So if you have him, good for you. You can bring it. She just got buffed. She's amazing now. Look at this. Attacks 3 times, turn meter, allies, increase all of them if she crits, and then removes all debuffs on all allies and heals them all. Heal amount is proportionate to her attack on a 4-turn cooldown. And then now this was lowered so much. 2-turn cooldown to revive somebody with a full turn meter. 75% health. That's insane. Insane. And she looks amazing. I love it. I definitely love that model. I wish that model wasn't something else that I could get, you know? Okay. I never even heard about this guy before. Seriously, I've never heard that he does amazing stuff. And that is probably why. So, you know, Septimus, yeah, we know he's great on the clan boss. He can do work and other things as well. So you would bring him if you have him. I mean, he's got good abilities. He attacks through shields, block damage. So whatever we're gonna face, you're gonna have to bring lifesteal gear if you're running Bannerlords, and we're just gonna have to go with what we have. You know, depending on how they tune this stuff. If they tune it too hard, like they've done the level stage 20 stuff, if they tune it that hard, it's going to be really difficult depending on what we go through. And I think we're going to have to give them feedback, you know, based on what it is. Because if they all make them the same difficulty, we don't necessarily have the same great champions in each one. So I'm assuming there's going to be a couple that are going to be really hard, no matter what champions you have. So we'll just have to see about that. So Black Knight would be good, of course. We could use Black Knight. He's not the greatest, but he does some okay stuff. 6-turn cooldown on a legendary. Whew. Okay, this girl I have, and I thought she was gonna get buffed. I really did. This 40% chance to place a HP burn is just really sad for a legendary. The heal's okay, and then a leech 3. Just nobody uses her. Nobody. So I thought she's gonna get buffed. She'll probably be buffed in the next round. I really hope so. And then Camp Fort, this Champ Fort, Lord Champ Fort, what a name. You know, I guess he'll be used by some people who come in here as well, who have him, because they probably have him leveled up. I can't tell, man. Bannerlords is pretty depressing, guys. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? If we had Faction Wars right now, what would you guys, if you had access to all the Bannerlords, since we're looking at all of them, and I don't think they're that great. If you had access to all the Bannerlords, what would be your 5 players? Because I'd bring her, Raglan. I'd bring her as my healer and support. I would bring Black Knight. I mean, now we're just picking out legendary. Now we're just going through all legendary, so it's really not that fair. If you could pick one legendary and then work with the rest of these guys, what would that be? What team would that be? Because I'd have to bring Horden, I'd have to bring Warcaster, and then I'd have to just mix in somebody else. Rowan, I guess I could level up. She is very cool. I wish I'd lower her cooldowns even more. And that's it. Bannerlords are pretty sorry. So that's all I got, guys. It's not that exciting video. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to go over if we had Faction Wars, because eventually we're going to have Faction Wars and we're going to have this conversation again. We're going to say, hey, I just went through Faction Wars. Here's the team I used. What team are you using? What's working? Is it really difficult? Has it been crazy hard to go through it? And we're just gonna be stuck at it. So we'll see what's going on. We'll have to see what teams we can put together. I guess I will be. I mean, you can see she's on highlight. You can see that I have her. I guess I will have to use her even at 5-star. I don't want to 6 her just to get some heals in there and get a burn if I have to. They really need to work on her. And yeah, let me know. What would your team be? What would you bring in there? Who would you bring in there? And do you think it's going to be hard? Do you think it's going to be hard for Bannerlords as opposed to some other faction? Do you think it will be easier for other factions because we'll have easy champs in there. I'm sure that'll be the case, or maybe they'll fine tune it to make it harder. I really don't know. The way it is right now, we're gonna have to have lifesteal gear on a lot of people, like we already do. We have lifesteal gear on everything, it seems like. I wish we could kind of move away from lifesteal gear a little bit so we wouldn't have to use it so much on everything we do with the Ultra Clan Boss, Nightmare Clan Boss, as well as, you know, all other fashions of the game. It's just too good to have lifesteal on a lot of champions. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on the faction wars that are coming up. Let me know what you think. I will see you all in the next video.